Zlata, hello.
Hello, Rupert.
Hi, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Good to be with you. Thank you so much for incredible teaching. My question is about the natural state and the nature of need and desires. And I had an experience in meditation where I would close my eyes and I would go in a deep sense of presence, and it's in your guided meditation, or when I'm listening to the recordings, or even sometimes by myself, I can get into the depths of that. And it's very peaceful and joyful, and I feel a deep connection. And at times I would feel one with the world, with the trees, nature, with the people. And I had that experience today and yesterday in a guided meditation. But once I start to walk through life and doing my things, and my attention shifts a little bit on the external world to do things I need to do, I notice I became aware of a very deep yearning or need. It's very subtle and deep, and desire for connection, for deep connection with the people that I may not have or experience at life, but I used to have an experience in the past, but not part of the present. And I noticed that this feeling, it's like a call, or this need for connection. That's accompanied me almost through my whole life, and I don't have it in some periods of life. And I wanted to see if that is a part of the natural state, because I was not able to find that state of peace, and at the same time I cannot suppress that call. Yeah.
Is it that the reason we feel this deep need for connection that you describe is because of the knowledge that lies deep within each of us, that we are one. In other words, oneness or connection is the natural state. If we separate ourselves from the other, if we feel separate from the other, we are violating the natural state, and as a result we suffer. And that is why the separate self, or the apparently separate self, longs to connect. It's why the separate self loves friendship, or loves intimacy, seeks intimacy, because of this deep memory in the separate self that at the deepest level it is already connected to everyone and everything, but that connection is not being felt. And this absence of connection sets up a feeling of nostalgia in the separate self, a feeling of longing. I want to find a partner, I want a friend, I want to be connected. This comes from the foretaste of our original unity, which has been veiled by the sense of separation, and therefore it's the one thing the separate self wants. What it is really seeking is to be divested of its sense of separation and returned to its natural condition. So just see this connection. You don't have to make the connection happen. It is already the case. Oneness, our shared being, is already the case. It doesn't need to be generated or created. Just see if there's anything you do in your attitudes towards other people that prevents this shared being fully felt.
It's incredible. It's bringing the revelation that the connection is already there, and I don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
Let it happen.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I noticed, that the experience of loss, maybe not really expressed as a form or direct memory is overpowering of loss of the connection, overpowering, and that comes
Yes,
from
the loss of connection, or it's not really a loss, it's the veiling of this natural state of unity is what you experience as the longing for connection. So just be aware if there's anything you do, for instance, if you hold internal judgments about someone else or criticism, or that's an act of separation. And that will prevent you from feeling your shared being with that person. So just see if there's anything that you're doing, any of your thoughts or feelings that are arising from a sense of separation.
I notice it's a sense of sorrow that life took us in a different directions and the connection naturally faded through the time.
If your friends are going in a different direction, that the outer connection may fade. There may not be, you may not have much in common with them anymore because your lives have gone off in different directions, but there's no reason for the inner connection to fade. You still share your being with them, even if they've gone off in a different direction. So you may not be able to celebrate your shared being with them because you no longer go out to dinner with them in the evenings or whatever it is you used to do. So you may no longer be able to express your shared being in the way you used to, but you can still feel it. And you can find other ways of expressing it.
The words that come to me is like, then they stay connected or surrender in your heart. The connection is always there, true to your heart.
Exactly. And sometimes some friendships, they exist mostly below the threshold of the mind. We don't, I'm sure you have friends like this. I'm sure all of us can relate to this. Friends that we don't have much day-to-day connection with. I have friends that sometimes I don't correspond with for a year or two, but when we do, sometimes even longer, but when we do, it's like we last saw each other yesterday. The love, which is of course the sense of our shared being, is not diminished over time and through absence of connection on the surface. It's always there, just as strong. Those are very beautiful friendships. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. Nice to see you again, Zlata.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful.